the only way I would have done it too, because they have meeting on those.
Actually, let's go.
What's theirs recording?
Huh?
That's a shade mate. Is it game changing that thing?
Yeah, they have something in there.
Huh.
I think that's the second one they have, because I thought I saw them. Yeah, they have it like 2 different angles.
There's one over here.
Yeah. Well, that's a different one. But I think there's one over there too.
That over on the fence I went this.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was a radar. It was faster picture.
Yeah.
Leo. Leo.
You bring a long sleeve shirt?
That's not. Way to go, 5. Genius.
Hello and welcome everybody here to Falcon Field on this chilly Wednesday evening where the Frankfort Falcons host the 1-win Berkeley Springs Indians this evening. Falcons coming off a loss at Allegheny on Monday and a canceled game last night versus Jefferson. Here start this game at 8-3. And again, the Berkeley Springs Indians come in at 1-15. So tonight's starting pitcher for the Falcons is going to be Wyatt Royal. His pitching stats coming into the game here today are going to be 3 innings pitched. He has 3 innings pitched in 2 games. He has faced 15 batters. Comes in with a 0 ERA. Has only given up 1 hit and 2 runs, none of which were earned. Has walked 4 and struck out 1. So pretty good stats there for Royal on just a couple of innings. But Wyatt Royal gets the start today against, again, the Berkeley Springs Indians.
So, like, I'll be obviously. I feel like the last week's over. Or whatever.
And Wyatt Royal's first pitch to start this game is a ball in the dirt. So 1-0 count. Here to start off for the Indians is Kyle Rankin. He will be pitching tonight. And that pitch is low, but is called a strike. So 1-1 count here on Rankin. Pitch is low in the dirt again, so 2-1 count here on Rankin to start off this game. Again, busy week here for the Falcons. I believe it's 8 games in 8 days here by the end of the week. That strike is at the knee, so 2-2 count here to Rankin to start this game.
Go now. Okay.
Full count now here on Rankin. And that ball is low, so that will be a walk here for Rankin to start off this game. So next up for the Indians is going to be the center fielder, number 9, Kyle Moore.
I'll get you back.
That ball is grounded to the second baseman. Looks to turn two, gets it over to Jacobs for one, and back to Lease for the double play. So that was quickly started by, looks to be Jackson Hare there at second base to start the double play. Oh, they said he did not touch second base, so that will leave the runner at second. Apologize for not seeing that, but that it does get the out at first. So one out here in the top of the first. Runner on second. Looks like Blake may have missed the bag. And up next for the Indians, Jackson McClintock squared to bunt and missed for a strike. So 0-1 count here on McClintock, the second baseman. A little bit of a dust storm there behind Royal, so he steps off. And his first pitch is bounced in the dirt and picked up, blocked very well by Julian Patterson. So 1-0 count, or I'm sorry, 1-1 count here to the second baseman from Berkeley Springs, McClintock. Again, mentioning 8 games in 8 days for the Falcons, even with yesterday's cancellation, or that was including yesterday's cancellation. That pitch is swung on and missed by McClintock. So 1-2 count on the Indian second baseman. Starting off the week was Allegheny, where they went up to Haystack Mountain and lost 4-0. Wyatt's pitch is fouled off down the third base line, so count will stay 1-2. Last night Jefferson did come in too short gap, but left with a canceled game. Weather. We have Berkeley Springs tonight. Off day tomorrow. Then the Falcons travel to Bridgeport for a 4-game tournament on Friday and Saturday. Pitch is fouled off back to the backstop, so count stays 1-2. So Friday at, I believe, 2 o'clock, they play the Lincoln Cougars. At 6:15, they will play the Robert C. Byrd Eagles on Friday. The curveball is swung and hit. Actually, it lined it back to Wyatt, who gets it to first for the out after looking down the runner at second base. But the runner does advance to third, but there is 2 outs here. Two outs here in the top of the first. So again, on third base is Rankin, who led off the game with a walk. And that's going to bring up here number 19, Sean McCumbee, the catcher for the Indians. That pitch is fouled down the third base line, so 0-1 count here to McCumbee. Again, no score here early in this top of the first inning.
One shot.
And as I was mentioning, Saturday, this coming Saturday, the final 2 games of the tournament for the Falcons, we'll see them face off against the Bridgeport Indians at 10 a.m. and then finish up the 4-game set for the weekend against Herbert Hoover at 2 o'clock. And that pitch is fouled back, so 0-2 count here to McCumbee. Wyatt Royal looking to get out of this early jam here in this first inning after the leadoff walk, who has advanced to third base. He does have 2 outs and 2 strikes here on McCumbee. I'm sorry. Yes, McCumbee. And that is swung on and grounded to third, and it is off Lanson Orndorff's glove and just past Jacobs into left field for a base hit. And that will drive in the Indians' first run here of the game, and they now lead 1-0. So now up for the Indians is going to be the right fielder, number 27, Chase McClintock. I'm sorry, Chase Stotler. Sorry, I read that wrong. Chase Stotler, the right fielder for the Indians. The ball's fouled off, so it'll be 0-1 count here on Stotler. Royals pitch is low, so ball, so it'll be 1-1 count. Again, 2 outs, top of the first. Indians score 1 on the base hit by McCumbee, who is on first. That pitch is outside, so that'll be 2-1 here on Stotler. So pretty big weekend of games here coming up for the Falcons. 3 of the 4 games are all regional games, so very important games. That pitch is outside, so it's going to reach 3-1 count here on Stotler.
You have to chase.
And that will force a walk, so that'll be runners on first and second now for the Indians. Again, 2 outs here in the top of the first. And again, Royal 3 2/3 innings so far. That's his first earned run of the season. So up next for the Indians is going to be number 27. No, this is Stotler. I apologize. That previous batter was number 13, Gunnar McInerney. The pitch from Royal is in there for a strike. So my apologies. This is actually Chase Stotler here, the right fielder, number 27. So runners on first and second here for the Indians in the top of the first, and that curveball is swung on and missed. So 0-2 count here on Stotler. Again, Royal looking to get out of the jam where he's already given up 1 run and runners on first and second. That pitch is in, and runner takes off for third. Patterson's throw down to third base is picked up by Lance and Orndorff, but the runner is safe. So just the 1 advancement. So runners on the corners here for the Indians, looking to add another run here in the top of the first.
Chase.
That pitch is low, and that will actually get number 13, McInerney, down to second base. So now another runner in scoring position here for the Indians, and that pitch is dribbled up the first base line to Lease, but he will pick it up and take it himself for the out. So that will finish off the inning. So 1 run, 1 hit for the Indians, and they lead going into the bottom of the first, 1-0.
Pick him up.
Welcome back here to the bottom of the first inning here for the Falcons, where Falcons will have Lance and Orndorff lead off the inning, trailing 1-0 with the RBI single from Sean McCumbee for the Indians. First pitch is swung on and missed by Orndorff. Orndorff comes into the game tonight with a .342 batting average, a .432 on base, and a .827 OPS on the season. That second pitch is a curveball swung on, and it is hit to center field. And center fielder comes over and does get the catch. So that is 1 out for the Falcons to start the game off here in the bottom of the first.
Catch you for? That hits my camera.
So one down here in the Falcons first, and that is going to bring up number 10, shortstop Blake Jacobs. And he hits the first pitch, line drive right past the shortstop into center field for a base hit.
All right, 1 out. Let's go.
Is it moving?
So Jacob starts the game off, or I'm sorry, in the second spot with a base hit. So it's going to bring up number 2, center fielder Jacob Netting. Jacobs takes off for second, throws down, and he is there. So Jacobs with the stolen base gets a runner in scoring position here for the Falcons, looking to tie the game up here in the bottom of the first. It's going to be a 1-0 count on the ball to Netting. Who Netting comes into the game hitting .387 with a .500 on base. And Netting lines it to third base off the glove of the third baseman, and Netting will reach. So that is going to put runners at first and second here for the Falcons, and that is going to bring up number 3, the cleanup hitter, right fielder Uriah Cutter.
You're all right, kid. Let's go. 1 out.
Cutter comes into the contest with a .286 batting average and a .324 on base. He swings at the first pitch, and it is fouled back behind the Indians' dugout. So 0-1 count here to the senior right fielder.
All right, let's get you 4.
Again, base hit by Jacobs, stolen base, and now a base hit by Netting is what has led to the runners on first and second for the Falcons, looking to tie this game up here in the bottom of the first. Pickoff attempt at second, and Jacobs gets back. So one thing that this Falcons team does do really well is get on base. Every single player on this team has a 300 or higher on base percentage. And Cutter takes the pitch and hits it to the shortstop, who does get it over to third for the force out. So that will cut down the runner at third, but that will move everybody up 90 feet. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, and that's going to bring up number 7, first baseman Lane Lease.
Go Lane. Go 7.
That curveball gets by the catcher, and that is going to move everybody up to second and third. So runners move up 90 feet, and that's going to put runners on second and third here for the Falcons, again looking to try to tie this game up in the bottom of the first inning. Lease coming in with .310 batting average with a .412 on base. He grounds it to the shortstop in the hole. He fires over to first and in time to get Lease. So that will end the threat for the Falcons, and the Indians get out of it. So 2 hits, no runs, no errors for the Falcons here, and they trail still here 1-0 going to the top of the second.
Caden Henry. Yes, sir. Get you.
All right, and welcome back here to the top of the second, where the Indians take a 1-0 lead into the top of the second. Royal's second pitch here of the inning is going to be swung on and for a strike. So 1-1 count here to number 3, Jalen Miller, first baseman for the Indians. And that pitch is in the dirt, blocked by Pattison, so 2-1 count on Miller. Falcons threatened in the bottom of the inning. Runners on second and third, and Lease grounds out to end the inning. So threat over, and Falcons trail 1-0 here in the top of the second. And that pitch is hammered to left field, and that turns Purdue around and gets to the fence. And that is going to put Miller on second with a stand-up double. So Miller leads off the inning for the Indians with a stand-up double to left field, and that is going to bring up number 16, Caden Henry. Following Caden Henry is Caden Groves, the Indians left fielder, and then back to the top of the lineup. And that ball gets past Pattison. That's going to be allow the runner to advance. So that's going to put the runner on third with nobody out here in the top of the second inning for the Indians, looking to add on to their already 1-0 lead. That pitch is outside, so 2-0 count here to Henry. And that pitch is fouled off to the backstop, so 2-1 count here to the Indians' second baseman. Again, Jalen Miller stands on third with the leadoff double for the Indians. That pitch is fouled down the first base line, so that's going to even up the count at 2 apiece against the Indians' second baseman. That pitch does get past Pattison, but no advancement. So that's going to give a full count here to Henry for the Indians.
shot. Throw it through him. Through him. Let's go.
Come on, Henry.
Royal doing a very good job of really mixing up his pitches, trying to get the Indians to get ahead of the count, but not really hitting anything here. So that is going to be a walk here for Henry. So that's going to bring up the number 9 hitter, Caden Groves.
Let's go, 11.
Timeout here for the Falcons, going to bring up a pitching mound visit here. Just wanted to talk to the pitcher, so
with the weight. That's why I'm here. That's why I got this. Yeah. One time.
Second part. Yeah. I only have two. So they're in there.
so after the mound visit to calm Royal down just a little bit, we're back to play here. And again, number 11, Caden Groves here for the Indians. And his first pitch is swung on, and it hits right to the shortstop, where Jacobs does pick it up and gets the out for the first of the inning. So one down, runners on the corners here for the Indians, and that's going to bring up the top of the lineup, Kyle Rankin. Rankin led off the game with a walk and ended up coming around to score on the McCombie single. Pitch from Morrow is swung on and hit to the shortstop, and he will reach at first base. So he does beat the throw from Jacobs after the bobble, and that will put runners on first and second. The run does come across, so that will be 2-0 here for the Indians. Again, one out and runners on first and second now for the Indians. That's going to bring up Kyle Moore. It's 0 for 1 today.
You can take it.
That pitch is swung on and fouled off down to the front of the Falcons dugout. So 1-1 count here to number 9, Kyle Moore. That pitch is in the dirt, so 2-1 count here to Moore. Again, 0 for 1 today. Another jam here for Royal in the top of the second. Runners on first and second. That pitch is fouled off the foot of Moore. So 2-2 count on the Indian center fielder.
And that
pitch is picked up off the dirt by Pattison, so it's going to be a full count here to Moore. That was pitch 43 here for Royal early in the second. That pitch is grounded to the shortstop, Jacobs, who gets it over to third for the force out. So that'll be 2 outs here in the Indian second.
Repeat, let's go. Sorry, kids. Yes.
Looks like it's going to be a pinch runner. Liam Kaufman
Go, Jackson. Come on, sit.
goes to second base. And that fastball is outside, missed for a ball. So 1-0 count here to the Indians' second baseman, number 6, Jackson McClintock. And Royals pitch is just a little high, so 2-0 count.
Come on, kid. Let's see.
And that pitch is in there for a strike. So 2-1 count to McClintock. Again, 1 run across here in the top of the second, extending Berkeley Springs' lead to 2-0 here over the Falcons. That pitch is swung on and missed, so it's going to even up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the second. Berkeley Springs leading Frankfort 2-0. And that pitch is swung on, and it is hit in the gap to the left fielder. Purdue picks up, fires it in, and it is picked up by Royal, and that will score another run. So that will extend the Berkeley Springs lead to 3-0.
He started.
You know better.
The clear eye started. Clear eye. Word. Yeah, wonder.
No. You are. Let's go. Watch it.
And there will be a pitching change here as Wyatt Royal is replaced by the right fielder Uriah Cutter, and Royal will go out to right field. So on the season here for Cutter, he has actually pitched in with 4 innings, pitched in 1 game so far, faced 19 batters, did get a win, and does have a 0 ERA. He's only given up 2 hits and 2 earned runs, walked 3 and struck out 3 so far. I'm sorry, he does have an ERA of 3.50 with a whip of 1.25 for the senior. So very respectable numbers in the 4 innings that he has pitched. Got the win, of course, but only 2 hits in those 4 innings. So again, Falcons trail here to Berkeley Springs, 3-0 in the top of the second inning. Runner on second. That is Kyle Moore over on second base. And there are 2 outs here in the Indians' second. And that pitch is outside for a ball. So 1-0 count here on number 19, Sean McCumbee, the Indians catcher. Pickoff attempt is off the mark just a little bit, and Moore gets back. So Cutter's pitch is in there for a strike. So 1-1 count on the Indians catcher.
Go 1-9. You got this. 1 shot. Oh.
That slider is in there, swung on and missed. So 1-2 count here on McClintock. I'm sorry, on McCumbee for the Indians. Falcons looking to try to get out of this inning with the 2 runs. And that is a shot down the first base line. And it is caught by Lane Lease. So that will end the threat from the Indians. They do pick up 2 here in the top of the second and now lead the Frankfort Falcons 3-0. Welcome back here to the bottom of the second, where Jesus Purdue will lead off here for the Falcons in his first at bat of the evening. And he looks to bunt, and it will be a dead ball. So that will be a strike here for the Falcons left fielder. Again, Falcons trail 3-0 after giving up 1 in the first and 2 here in the top of the second.
Right there, make a play. Hit a ball, kid, hit a ball.
Go. Come D.
Nice.
That pitch is outside, so 1-1 count here on the Falcons left fielder. Again, Purdue up here in the bottom of the second, followed by the DH, Rhett Sensabaugh, followed up by Jackson Hager, the starting second baseman. That ball is fouled off. So 1-2 count to Purdue. Again, Purdue comes into the game today with a .300 even batting average, .421 on base. That ball's in the dirt, so it's going to even up the count at 2 apiece.
Let's go. Give him a stink eye. I would do it, wouldn't I, Robin? I would do it.
Nice pitch.
All right, all right.
Hey, let's go win this.
And that pitch is outside, so it's going to be a full count here for Purdue.
Squeeze 19.
Chase, make the play here.
In the first inning, the Falcons had base runners, just couldn't get anybody across. And that ball is fouled down the third base line, or first base line for Purdue, keeping the count at full 3-2. But the Falcons did have runners on second and third in the bottom of the first, just couldn't get anybody across after the ground out to end the inning.
There it is.
And that is blooped into left field and fair ball for Purdue. So Purdue will get a stand-up double to lead off this bottom of the second inning. So Purdue leads off the inning again with a stand-up double down the left field line, and that will bring up the DH, number 16, Rhett Sensabaugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
That ball is low for a ball, so 1-0 count here on Sensible, who comes into this game sporting a 375 batting average, 474 on base, and a whopping 911 OPS. So very good numbers here for the Falcons DH. And he takes it back up the middle for a base hit, and that will, Coach Miller will hold the runner, and that will advance Sensible with very smart base running up to second base. So Falcons threatening here in the bottom of the second. Runners on second and third, and that is going to bring up the Falcons second baseman, number 13, Jackson Hare.
Let's go.
Now, batting average-wise, Jackson Hare struggling a little bit here on the season at a 207. But what he brings defensively and on the mound is where he makes up for the slow start here for the Falcons second baseman, hitting at, again, 207. Does still have a 314 batting average and a OPS of 521. So big spot here for Jackson Hare. Could cut this lead down to 3-2 with runners in scoring position on second and third base. And he hits it to left field. Left fielder does come in and he makes the catch. So that is 1 out for the Falcons. So no tag up on the fly out by Hare. So 1 down here in the Falcons second, and that's going to bring up number 11, Julian Pattison. Again, Pattison struggling batting average-wise with a 143 on the season so far, but does offer a 350 on-base percentage. So he is getting on base. And that first pitch to Pattison is fouled off behind us, and will be 0-1 count to the senior catcher. Pattison does add some very good power to the Falcons bottom of the lineup. Looking to take advantage of the runners in second and third, and that is over the head of the shortstop, and that will bring in 1 runner, and Pattison will reach second base on the throw to third. So 1 run is in for the Falcons, and runners back to second and third. So the Falcons do cut the lead now to 3-1 for the Indians. And only 1 out here in the bottom of the second. And it's going to be a courtesy runner here for Pattison. Looks like Braden Tyler for the Falcons will be the pinch runner. And that is going to bring up the top of the lineup here for the Falcons with number 15, Lanson Orndorff. Pitches in the dirt for a ball, so 1-0 count here to the Falcons' third baseman. Orndorff led off the game with a fly ball out to the center fielder.
I'm going to punch you.
That ball's in the dirt. It's a 2-0 count.
I'm going to punch you. Station. And you guys are youth, but now huh? I know. You don't say that stuff. Jinxes you.
And that is hit into left field. And it is right to the left fielder, but that will have Sensible tag up, and he will score. So that will cut the lead to 3-2 here for the Falcons on the sac fly from Orndorff.
Bring one in, kid.
So Tyler stays at second, and Orndorff drives in the run again to cut the lead to 3-2 here for the Indians. That's going to bring up number 10, shortstop Blake Jacobs, who's 1 for 1 today with a base hit over right up the middle.
Oh, nice pitch.
Nice. All right.
Turn.
Look nice.
That's going to be on the outside corner, but for a ball. So 1-0 count
1-2-4,
here
you
to
got
the
that?
Falcons shortstop. Again, runner on second.
Swatted it down.
2 outs here for the Falcons at the bottom of the second. And that is grounded to the third baseman, and he bobbles it. And the third baseman is down after the bad hop. And that will allow Jacobs to reach. So runners on first and third here for the Falcons, and that will be a timeout for the Indians here as they check on the third baseman, Caden Henry.
Okay, let's see if that's going to make him girl.
I can jump up and down.
It's not funny. That is, yes, that is how we need to find track. Yeah. Yeah. You're too good. It's not fun. I mean, like. Listen, that's the second one that he's knocked down that hasn't gone that far. The first one hurt his hand. It's not. It's even funnier because it's true. Like, I love you, kid.
So it looks like the third baseman from the Indians is okay and is still in the game. That is going to bring up number 2, center fielder Jacob Netting, who is 1 for 1 today with a base hit as well. Another base hit will tie this game up for the Falcons. That is in there for a strike, and Jacobs does hit, and the ball is thrown away past the third baseman, and that will allow Tyler to score, and that is going to bring in from second base Blake Jacobs. So now the Falcons with 2 have now taken the lead 4-3.
He's wrapped around the line. I make it in the hole.
So after the throwing error, which allowed 2 runs to score, the Falcons now take the lead 4-3 here in the bottom of the second. And Netting hits it to center field. And the center fielder does make the jumping catch to end the inning. But with that, the error does allow 4 runs to score here in the bottom of the second. And the Falcons take a 4-3 lead going into the top of the third.
Let's go, Hunter.
So to lead off the third inning here for the Indians, first pitch is swung on by Connor McConaughey, and he grounds out to first base for a out. So one out here in the Indians' third, and that will bring up number 27, Chase Stotler.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Nope. Never mind.
Do it now.
I did not complete that thing.
Get you 7.
That pitch from Cutter is in there for a ball. So 1-0 count to Stotler, who is 0 for 1 today. It's in there for a ball as well. So 2-0 count on Stotler here for the Indians in the top of the third.
All right, come on, kid. Here we go.
And that is outside. So it is a 3-0 count here to Stotler. Again, base hit and an error have allowed the Falcons to take the lead here in the top of the third by a score of 4-0. That pitch is low at the knees, but called a strike. So 3-1 count here on the Indians' right fielder. And that pitch is in there for a strike. So full count. Cutter has brought it back to a full count.
Easy here, kid. Protect.
Come on. Let's go. Bring it back. Here we go.
And that pitch is high for a ball, so that will put Stotler on for the first time today. That's going to bring up number 3, first baseman Jalen Miller. 1 for 1 today. Does have the one of the runs scored for the Indians. And Cutter's first pitch to him is a strike. Second pitch is up in the zone for a ball, so it's going to even the count at 1. Again, Cutter is in here for relief from Wyatt Royal. And that pitch is hit down the line to left, and it is in for a base hit. And that will get the runners to third and second base there for number 3, Jalen Miller, his second double of the game. So that's going to put 2 runners in scoring position here for the Indians on second and third on the Miller double. And that is going to bring up third baseman Caden Henry. That is in there for a strike. So 0-1 count here to Henry. It does look to be okay after that unfortunate bounce in the bottom of the inning that hit him a little below the belt. So 0-2 count after the swinging strike. Fouled off behind the plate to the backstop.
Yeah, I do actually. You know,
When I go back over there.
That pitch is bounced in the dirt but blocked by Pattison. So 1-2 count here on Henry. And Cutter's first full inning of pitching here in a little bit of a jam. Runners on second and third. And that pitch is swung on and missed for the strikeout. Cutter's first of the game. So 2 outs here in the Indians' third.
On our bellies.
Again, Cutter looking to get out of the second and third jam here for the Indians. And that's going to bring up the number 9 hole hitter, Caden Groves. Groves 0 for 1 today. And he grounds it to the third baseman, and it is just foul.
You link it around third. Yeah, let's go here 1-1. Here we go, kid. Here we go.
That pitch is in there for a strike, so that is going to be an 0-2 count here. Cutter again looking to get out of this runner on second and third jam in his first full inning of relief. That pitch is past him, and he is.
Got him.
And the runner is called safe. So the runner does score, and that will tie the ball game up here at 4. Must have slid just under the tag from Pattison. But that will move the runner over to third on the wild pitch and tie this game at 4.
Hey, come on, Rod, get out of here.
So it's going to be a 2-2 count now after that pitch was called a ball. So 2-2 on the batter, Groves. And that is in the dirt. So full count here on Groves. Indians running on third, trying to take the lead back from the Falcons. And that is line shot right up the middle for Groves, and that run will score. And Berkeley Springs again takes the lead back at 5-4.
Come on, God. What red you basing on?
So now that is going to bring up the top of the lineup for the Indians. Here, Kyle Rankin. Rankin is 0 for 1 with a walk, but does have an RBI here for the Indians. And that pitch is popped up in the infield and picked up by Cutter to end the inning. So, with 1 run across, that is going to tie this ball game. 2 runs across here for the Indians. That's going to stretch their lead now 5-4 over the Falcons. Again, 5-4 to the Berkeley Springs Indians. After the Indians come into the third inning and score 2. So 1 run in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third have led to the 5 runs for the Indians. And Cutter swings at the first pitch and drives the center fielder back, and it is going to bounce at the fence, and Cutter gets on his horse and is going to try to get to third with a leadoff stand-up triple. So now Peyton Durst is going to be the pinch runner for Cutter, who is the pitcher, who is entitled to a pinch runner and can stay in the game. But the leadoff triple from Cutter gets the tying run to third base here in the bottom of the third, and that's going to bring up number 7, first baseman Lane Lease. So Lease looking to get that run across and tie this game up. That curveball is in there for a strike. So 0-1 count here on Lease. Lease is 0 for 1 today.
Here you go, 1-1.
Again, Lease now batting .310 on the season. And that pitch is low for a ball. So evens up the count here at 1 apiece. On deck for the Falcons is going to be number 31, Jesus Purdue, who doubled down the left field line on his first at bat. And that pitch is fouled back behind the netting. So 1-2 count here to the Falcons' first baseman.
Go here, 1-1. We smell it here, Sean. 1-2.
Come on.
So again, 1-2 count here on Lease. Falcons looking to tie this game up. And that pitch is fouled down the first base line and just out of play. So count will stay 1-2 here on Lease. New pitcher here for the Indians, by the way. That is number 11, Caden Groves, who does take over for Kyle Rankin here in the bottom of the third. And that pitch is going to hit Lease in the back. So that will put him on base. So that's going to be runners on first and third here for the Falcons to start the bottom of the third. And the final numbers here for Rankin.
Hey, let's go 3-1. Oh my gosh.
Rankin, 2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 of which were earned for the Indians pitcher, who again, that's going to bring up Jesus Purdue here for the Falcons. And he takes the first pitch for a ball. So again, Falcons trail here in the bottom of the third, 5-4. After the 2 runs in the top of the third for the Indians to retake the lead. But Falcons have a runner on first and third. And that pitch is outside for a ball. So 2-0 count to Purdue. Again, Purdue with the stand-up double in his first at bat. And that ball is fouled off right back here where we are.
White truck hit the
In the
white
standing, or in the fan area here in the seats. So that is going to be a 2-1 count on Purdue.
Hey, you it up right here. 2-2 right here.
Look at.
Nice pitch.
Hey, let's go dudes protected.
That curveball is in there for a strike. So 2-2 count here to Purdue, the left fielder. Again, doubled in his first at bat. Another base hit. It's going to tie this game up for the Falcons.
Go here, 1-1. Here we go, kid.
That ball is in the dirt and no advancement. So full count here to Purdue. On deck is number 16, Rhett Sensabaugh.
Must be pretty slow.
It must have been wet.
He is 1 for 1 on the evening.
You know, I like it wet.
Go here, one more.
Well, no.
That curveball is high. So that is going to load him up for Rhett Sensabaugh here for the Falcons. Nobody out. Again, he's 1 for 1 today. Looking to break this thing wide open. Again, bases loaded full of Falcons and nobody out here at the bottom of this lineup.
Block everything, Sean. Look at
And Sensabaugh hits the first pitch, and that is going to be over the left fielder's head. And that is going to bring in at least 2. That could be a bases clearing double. No, they did stop Purdue at third. So first pitch swinging for Sensabaugh, and he drives in 2 for the Falcons, and they retake the lead 6-5.
Way to be, Chad. Get it out. Let's go, boys. Huh? 8. 8.
So after the 2-run double from Sensabaugh, his second hit of the night, that's going to bring up number 13, Jackson Hare, for the Falcons. Again, nobody out here in the bottom of the third. Falcons have retaken the lead 6-5. Runners on second and third.
There we go.
That curveball is in there for a strike, so that's going to even up the count at 1 apiece.
Come on, Groves.
Get a base hit here will stretch the Falcon lead. Back and forth contest here with the Indians. And Hare takes it to right field. And it is going to get past the right fielder for a base hit all the way to the wall. That's going to drive in 2. And Hare is up with a stand-up triple. So 2 more runs here for the Falcons, and they extend the lead now 8-5 here in the bottom of the third.
Let's go. Why are you? We can't hear. We can't hear.
So back-to-back base hits for a double and a triple for the Falcons have now plated 4 in this inning, and still nobody out. That is going to leave Hare on third, and that's going to bring up number 11, Julian Pattison, who is 1 for 1 with a double tonight. And that first pitch is going to be low at his feet and in for a ball. So 1-0 count here to the senior catcher for the Falcons, who have plated 4 runs here in the bottom of the third. That pitch is in there for a strike, so evens up the count at 1 apiece.
Yeah, but I'm going. Go here, one.
I'll be in bed till mom. That's all it says. I'll be in bed till mom.
That pitch is fouled back to the netting. So 1-2 count here on Pattison. Again, there has been a run in every inning except the Falcons' bottom of the first here.
Go here, one.
Again, Falcons lead 8-5 now here in the bottom of the third. Pattison swinging it again. Fouled back, stays the count 1-2.
Come on, Grant. You got this, kid.
Patterson,
Good job, Joel.
base hit for Patterson, and that's going to drive in the run from third. So another base hit for Jules Patterson, and that is going to stretch the Falcon lead to now 9-5.
Good job, Jack. Good job, Joel.
And that is going to roll over the lineup for the Falcons and bring up number 15, Lanson Orndorff.
1-5, base hit here.
Orndorff 0 for 1 today with a sac fly RBI in the bottom of the second
Let's go.
for the junior third baseman. Pitcher fires over to first, but runner gets back, so runner takes off, and it is behind him and into center field, and he will advance another 90 feet. So that will put another runner on third base here for the Falcons. Again, still nobody out in the Falcons' third.
No, I understand.
And that curveball is in there for a strike. So 1-1 count here to Orndorff.
All right, come on.
That ball is fouled down the third base line, so that's going to even up the count here at 2 apiece for Orndorff.
Let's go, bud.
It's up.
And that slider is outside, and it's going to full count here for Orndorff. Again, 5 runs here across for the Falcons in the bottom of the third to take a 9-5 lead over the Berkeley Springs Indians. And Orndorff lines it to center field, and catch is made. And that is going to bring in the runner from third. So another sac fly from Orndorff stretches out and doubles up the Indians, now 10-5 Falcons.
On out, let's go, Sean.
So after the sac fly from Orndorff, his second of the evening, it's going to bring up shortstop number 10, Blake Jacobs. And he's first pitch swinging and fouls it down the third base line out of play. So it's going to be an 0-1 count to the junior shortstop.
Thanks.
Again, the first out of the inning there for the Falcons. And that pitch is outside for a ball, so evens up the count at 1 apiece. Jacobs 1 for 2 on the evening. He does have a run scored. And that pitch from Groves is low, so 2-1 count on Jacobs.
Yeah, kid.
That pitch bounces and hits the catcher in the face mask. Gets away, but puts a count at 3-1.
Don't lose it.
And that pitch is in the dirt for and outside, so that will put Jacobs on for the second time today with a walk. And that's going to force a pitching mound visit for the Indians. Again, Falcons lead now here in the bottom of the third, 10-5.
Sean, get the balls from him. Sean, get the balls from him. Go, one out!
So after the quick mound visit, that's going to bring up number 2 center fielder Jacob Netting. Jacobs takes off for second, and he will get there standing up. So one more runner in scoring position for the Falcons, looking to add on to their lead. Again, 1 out here in the bottom of the third. They've stretched across 6 runs here in this inning, 4 in the second to make 10-5 here over the Indians.
He's done being retired now.
That pitch is on the inside corner, but just off the plate for a ball, so evens up the count at 1 here for Netting. Netting 1 for 2 on the evening. That ball is in the dirt, and Jacobs takes off for third, and that ball is overthrown from the pitcher, and Jacobs will score, extending the lead to now 11-5. Smart base running from the junior shortstop. So that is now 7 runs across here in the bottom of the third inning for the Falcons.
And then the other here, and then bring him down here. And then
And Netting grounds it to third, and another bad hop gets past the third baseman into left field, so that will put Netting on at first with a hit.
We saw that big hop.
So Netting reaches first on the bad hop past the third baseman, and that is going to turn this lineup over again, and that's going to bring up number 3 pitcher Uriah Cutter. Cutter 1 for 2 this evening. Netting takes off for second, and he slides in safely. So Netting gets to second, puts another runner in scoring position. Falcons looking to add on to this 11-5 lead.
Is the wild man coming?
I can bring him.
Yes. Bring him.
So Netting reaches second, and that pitch is in the dirt past the catcher, and that will allow Netting to reach third.
She just pats and rubs her head.
So an RBI opportunity here for Cutter and to extend the lead for the Falcons.
What is his name? I just called him Wild Man. I don't
Baker.
That pitch is high, so that will be a 3-0 count here to Cutter.
Get your mother under wraps because she left Tabby home alone and didn't tell me.
And that pitch is inside, and that will force the walk to Cutter. And that's going to bring up Lane Lease, who in his last at bat was hit in the back. So hit by pitch got him on. And Peanut Durst here going to sub in for Cutter as a pinch runner. So Lease 0 for 1 today with, again, the hit batsman, and Durst takes off for second, and he is in there standing up. So Another stolen base here for the Falcons base runners. And that pitch gets past the catcher, but no advancement. So runners on second and third here for the Falcons. Again, we're still here in the bottom of the third, only one out. And the Falcons have stretched across 7 runs here in the inning to lead the Berkeley Springs Indians 11-5. And that pitch is in there for a strike, so that will put the count at 2-1. And a half swing by Lease grounds it up the first base line, and first baseman picks it up and touches first for the out. So the second out of the inning here for the Falcons, and that's going to bring up number 31, Jesus Purdue.
He left me hanging. I was in class. Oh. I'm like, I was looking at that.
All right, good pitch.
So that first pitch is inside and for a ball. So 1-0 count on Purdue. Purdue 1 for 1 with a walk and 2 runs scored on the evening for the sophomore left fielder. That pitch is way inside, so 2-0 count to Purdue.
Fun, Groves.
Again, Purdue comes in
Come on. You and
the
Sean.
421 on base percentage. And that pitch is inside, so 3-0 count on the left fielder. Again, just a sophomore here. Purdue, very good on base percentage again at 421. Does have a base hit here today, and 2 of the 11 runs scored for Purdue. And right on cue, he gets the walk. So that is going to load the bases here for the second time this inning. 2 outs for Rhett Sensabaugh, who did drive in 2 on a 2-run double to start off this inning, start the scoring off of the inning.
Can't make him do that.
Here we go. There's one.
First pitch swinging from Sensabaugh is fouled back, so 0-1 count to Sensabaugh.
It went under that silver. Yeah, like right on.
Sensabaugh fouls that off down the first base line and just out of the reach from the first baseman. So
Come on, Caden.
catching a break there, but the count is 0-2 to Sensabaugh. Again, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third, where the Falcons have stretched across 7 runs in the inning to take the 11-5 lead. And again, this is Sensabaugh's second opportunity with the bases loaded here in this inning.
There we go. That's it.
And it's swung on and missed, but catcher touches the plate for the advancement of the runner, and that will end the inning. So again, 7 runs across here for the Falcons to stretch the lead for Frankfort 11-5, and we go to the top of the 4th inning. Welcome back here to the top of the fourth, where Berkeley Springs trails now to the Falcons 11-5 after the 7-run bottom of the third inning. Up for the Indians.
All right, let's go.
That pitch is swung on and missed. Now it's going to be 0-2 count. Is going to be number 9, Kyle Moore.
Win the battle, Ted.
That pitch is swung on and grounded towards second base and just past Jackson Hare for a base hit for Moore. So Moore leads off the inning with a base hit to right field. That's going to bring up number 6, Jackson McClintock for the Indians. McClintock tonight. That first pitch is fouled back. McClintock is 1 for 2 with an RBI so far tonight. That was Kyle Moore's first hit of the evening with that single to right field. So 0-1 count here to McClintock. That pitch just a little past Pattison for a ball. So 1-1 count. Again, as mentioned, every inning, every half inning has had a run scored at least, except for the bottom of the first for the Falcons. 1 in the first, 2 in the second and third for the Indians. Nothing in the first, 4 in the second, and 7 in the third for the Falcons is what has led to the 11-5 lead for the Falcons. And that pitch is in there for a strike, so that's going to even the count at 2 apiece here for Cutter, who is in be the start of his third inning of relief. I'm sorry, second inning of relief. That pitch is fouled back to the backstop, so that will stay at 2 apiece here for number 6, McClintock. Cutter takes a long look, fires over to first, and it gets past Lease. And that will allow Moore to reach second, and he looks to go to third. Lease fires over to third, and just out of the reach of Orndorff. And Moore reaches third on the throwing error on the pickoff attempt from Cutter. And pitch is thrown, and it is a strikeout for Cutter. So the first out of the inning here for the Falcons. Again, leading 11-5 here in the top of the fourth.
Go, Sean.
That pitch is fouled off down the third base line and just out of the reach of Orndorff. This is number 19, Sean McCumbee for the Indians. So far the numbers on Cutter in relief is an inning and 2/3. He's given up 3 hits, 2 runs, only which one of was earned, has walked 1 and struck out 2. That pitch is in there for a strike. So 0-2 count here to McCumbee. And that curveball is in there for strike 3. And that is Cutter's third strikeout of the evening. So 2 outs now here in the Indians' fourth. Again, Cutter's third strikeout of the evening. That pitch is high for ball 1 to number 13. Gunnar McConaughey.
But when I went by, it wasn't hot like the car.
That curveball is in there for a strike to even the count at 1. Again, Kyle Moore on first. Reached on a walk and then got 2 bases on the passed ball on the pickoff attempt. And this is where we stand. The ball's fouled off down the third base line, so it's going to be a 1-2 count here to McConaughey. And that curveball is in there for strike 3. And that will end the inning for the Indians on Cutter's 4th strikeout of the night. And the first 0 up on the board for the Indians. We will go to the bottom of the 4th. Frankfort leads 11-5. So welcome back here to the bottom of the 4th, where Falcons lead the Berkeley Springs Indians 11-5. And leading off for the Falcons is going to be second baseman Jackson Hare. Hare 1 for 2 today with a 2 RBI double in his last bat. First pitch taken for a ball. And that pitch is also taken for a ball. So 2-0 count here to the Falcons' second baseman. That pitch is low for a ball. So 3-0 count here to the leadoff hitter for the Falcons. And that pitch is in the dirt, so a 4-pitch walk given up to Hare. He leads off the inning. It's going to bring up number 11, Julian Pattison, who's 2 for 2 today with 2 RBIs. Big evening for Pattison. Pattison also doing a very good job behind the plate this evening as well.
There you go.
That pitch is in there for a strike. So 0-1 count to the senior catcher.
Just like that, kid. Let's go, let's go.
Again, after Pattison, that will roll over this Falcon lineup back to the top of the order with Lance and Orndorff. And Pattison hits one down the line, and it is a fair ball. So that will get to the fence, and that will, Coach Miller will send Hare from first, and another RBI for Julian Pattison stretches the lead to 12-5 now for the Falcons. So Pattison now 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs on the evening.
I know, yeah.
So it's going to bring up number 15, Lance and Orndorff here for the Falcons. Another RBI opportunity for the third baseman. And first pitch swinging, and it is past the second baseman. And that is going to bring in the runner, Cam Sell, from second. So that is going to be another RBI for Lanson, his third of the evening. And that will make it 13-5 Falcons.
Go Tribe!
That's going to bring up Blake Jacobs here for the Falcons. Jacobs 1 for 2 today. 2 runs scored for the junior shortstop. The pitch was in there for a ball, so 1-0 count to Jacobs. That pitch is up, and 2-0 count on Jacobs. Get 2 runs across here for the Falcons, stretches their lead to 13-5. Pickoff attempt a second time, and Orndorff is back. Again, Jacobs up here for the Falcons. On deck is Jacob Netting. And that pitch is high, so 3-0 count here to Jacobs. And that pitch is low, so that will put on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That is a 3-1 count now. I recorded one of the balls as one of the strikes as a ball, so should be a 3-1 count here on Jacobs now. Now that is a ball 4. So Jacobs reaches base for a 4th time today. 3 walks and a base hit. That's going to bring up number 2, Jacob Netting.
Someone get him his other line. We'll go to the other side. What do they do now? Hey! What's the game? What's that? I didn't be running the knob before you game, Laura. I better not. Come on.
That's the run. I'm jumping all of it. He was just
So it looks like will be a pitching change here for the Indians as number 11, Caden Groves, will go to right field, and that will bring in number 3, Jalen Miller from first base for the Indians to pitch.
All right, you got this, kid.
I'll tell you something later.
All the way to the concession stand. No run. Leave baseball here. You don't need to take it with you. He doesn't need a baseball. So,
So after the pitching change here again brings in Jalen Miller from first base. It's going to bring up Jacob Netting here for the Falcons. Nobody out, runners on first and second. And the first pitch is in the dirt, but picked up by the catcher. So 0-1 or 1-0 count to the Falcons center fielder. Netting 1 for 3 on the evening. And Miller's pitch is in there for a strike to even the count at 1-1. Again, we are in the bottom of the fourth. Runners on first and second for the Falcons. Falcons lead 13-5. 2 across here in the inning so far for the Falcons. That pitch is swung on to get the count to 1-2 on Netting. Nobody out here in the Falcons' fourth either. On deck is number 3, Uriah Cutter. Cutter 1 for 2 with a walk. And that curveball brushes Netting off the plate, so 2-2 count. That pitch is in the dirt and outside, so that will be a full count on Netting. And that is ball 4 for Netting, so that will force the walk, and that will load the bases here for the pitcher, Uriah Cutter. Chance here for Cutter to break this game wide open again. Third opportunity for a Falcon hitter here in the game with bases loaded. Sensabaugh had 2 in that big 7th inning. Or I'm sorry, in the big 3rd inning where they scored 7 runs, had 2 bases loaded opportunities. Did capitalize on the first one, but did strike out to end the inning on the 2nd attempt. Pitch was swung on and missed, so 0-1 count, and that ball is grounded right up the middle, and that will score at least 2 for Cutter. Ball was bobbled in center field, and that is going to clear the bases, and a stand-up double for Cutter stretches the lead to now 16-5 Falcons.
Nice job, Ryan.
So Cutter, with his second hit of the evening, drives in 3 and stretches the Falcon lead to 16-5 now. That's going to bring up Lane Lease here, and that ball is high for a 1-0 count. Lease 0 for 2 with a run scored after he was hit by a pitch in the second inning. He takes that pitch for a ball, so 2-0 count here on the big first baseman. He swings and fouls one back behind the visitor dugout, so 2-1
One
count.
at a time, Reg. One at a time.
Come on, kid.
Let's go.
Pitch is fouled back again, so 2-2 count here on Lease. Again, nobody out here in the Falcon fourth. They put another crooked number up on the scoreboard with 5 in the inning. Lease fouls back a third straight pitch, so stays 2-2.
Come on, Reg.
Baseball.
That's it. I'll take that.
Lease swings and drives it into right field and drives it clear back to the warning track, and it is caught by the right fielder, and that does move up Cutter 90 feet. So productive out for the big first baseman for the first out of the inning. And that is going to bring up Jesus Purdue.
One at a time, kids.
Again, Purdue 1 for 1 today, walked twice, and has scored 2 runs. So coming back to the high on base percentage for Purdue, which is a very good thing, especially at the bottom of the lineup. You know, 6, 7, 8, and 9 have been very productive here for the Falcons. Purdue took the first pitch ball, but does take a strike there to even up the count at 1 apiece. Again, 1 out here in the Falcons' fourth. They've stretched across another 5 runs with a runner on third base to lead the Indians 16-5. That pitch is outside, so 2-1 count on Purdue. And Miller's pitch is high, so 3-1 count here to Purdue. Purdue grounds it to the second baseman, bobbles it, and Purdue gets there, but the ball gets past the first baseman and does bring in another run. So that will be now lead 17-5 for the Falcons.
Terminate the DH. Number 9, Matt. And play the field. Termination of the game.
So next up for the Falcons, it's actually going to be a pinch hitter here. Our starting pitcher for the night, it's Wyatt Royal, who's actually going to be the DH now for Rhett Sensabaugh. The left-hander takes first pitch ball, so 1-0 count.
Come on, kid.
On again, the original starting pitcher of the evening, Wyatt Royal. And still only 1 out here in the Falcons' fourth. And Royal hits it up the middle to the center fielder for a base hit, and that is going to send Purdue to third base on the base hit from Royal. So now runners on the corners here for the Falcons. Again, still only 1 out after the base hit from Royal. And that is going to bring up number 13's short second baseman, Jackson Hare. Hare is 1 for 2 on the evening. Does have 2 RBIs in his first at bat. 2 RBI double for the second baseman.
I've been there for basketball, but not baseball. And I know all the other places do have it. I would imagine they do.
And that pitch is in the dirt and past the catcher, and that will advance Royal to second base, so puts runners on second and third now for the Falcons. Again, 2-0 here, count to Jackson Hare.
There you go. Nice one, kid.
2-1.
There you go. Nice pitch. Nice pitch.
So now 3-0 count here to Jackson Hare. Again, that's going to bring up on deck Julian Patterson, who is 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs today, hitting the ball very well tonight.
Nice. One more 3. Nice pitch.
Good luck, Julian. Good luck, Julian.
One 3.
Again, the Falcons with the 4th opportunity of the night with the bases loaded, and up comes Julian Patterson, now up in the count 1-0. Already 3 for 3 on the night with 3 RBIs, with a chance to add even more. Again, just trying to stretch out this lead here for the Falcons, leading 17-5. So really, I said 5 stretch across here in this inning. It's actually 6 now.
There you go.
Patterson swung on and missed, so it's going to even the count at 1. Falcons showing a lot of resiliency here after the slow start. Nothing in the first, but have scored in every inning since of at least 4 runs. Pitch is fouled off down the first base line, so 1-2 count here to Patterson.
There we go.
And that pitch is fouled off and not caught, so Patterson stays alive in the at-bat.
Got this, Reg. One more, kid.
That pitch is outside and in the dirt, so it's going to even the count 2 apiece here on Patterson. Base is full of Falcons here again for the 4th time in this game. And Patterson gulps it, and it is sends it back, and it is gone. A grand slam for Julian Patterson, continuing the hot night tonight. Now 4 for 4 with a massive 7 RBIs. And now the Falcons lead 21-5.
Exactly what I was thinking, Lance. Well, if you're in a full on the show, just start.
Courage. One out.
So after the grand slam from Julian Pattison stretches the lead to 21-5 here for the Falcons, that's going to roll this lineup over again, and Lanson Orndorff
Really seals the deal.
gets back up to the plate. Again, Orndorff at the plate, 1 for 2 today, but does have 3 RBIs, 2 of which were sacrifice flies. And that is going to force another pitching change here for the Indians.
Come on, Jack. Oh, 1-0. I have 1-0. Okay.
So now back at it after the pitching change, the third one for the Indians here in this game.
Oh.
And that looks like it's going to be number 5, David Dillon, in for Miller here in the bottom of the 4th. His first pitch was a strike, and that is a ball to
Come on, Jackson.
Lanson Orndorff, so evens up the count. And Orndorff shoots it to center field,
Go.
right at the center fielder for the second out of the inning. So again, another big inning here for the
That's so annoying.
Falcons, who have scored 10 in the inning after the grand slam from number 11, Julian Pattison. Pattison 4 for 4 today, 7 RBIs on the evening. So now up for the Falcons, Blake Jacobs, and he takes a ball. Jacobs has been on 4 times tonight. I'm sorry, 3 times tonight. 2 walks and a hit.
Come on, Jackson.
Has come around to score 3 times as well. And that pitch just misses hitting Jacobs. So that'll be 2-0 count here on the shortstop.
There you go.
And that pitch is in there, so 2-1 count on Jacobs.
But now he is
So 3-1 count now on Jacobs.
running and
Come on,
And
Cam.
that will put Jacobs on again.
great.
2 outs.
So again, 2 outs here in the inning. Now Jacobs has been on 4 times in the inning. It's third walk, and that's going to bring up a pinch hitter for Jacob Netting. It's going to be Cam Sell. Looks like the Falcons are going to have another pinch hitter if he gets to the next batter. And Gunnar Bradshaw is on deck.
You know what? There we go.
And Sell takes first pitch strike. So 0-1 count here on the pinch hitter. And Cam Sell squirts one through between the shortstop and third baseman for a base hit. So another hit here for the Falcons. Runners on first and second. And that's going to bring up another pinch hitter here for the Falcons in number 21, Gunnar Bradshaw.
I was gonna say, I mean, we would have figured it out.
And that first pitch hits Bradshaw. So that is going to load the bases up again here for the Falcons, and another pinch hitter. And it's going to bring up Peyton Durst here for the Falcons. And Durst takes one in the dirt for a ball. So 1-0 count here on Durst. Again, the pinch hitter.
I know. It wasn't, no, it was going.
Jackson gets
Durst takes another in the dirt. So 2-0 count on the pinch hitter. And the Falcons have stretched across 10 runs here in the bottom of the fourth and now lead 21-5 over the Berkeley Springs Indians.
Which one's yours?
Come on, Jack.
I'm gonna use this.
And that pitch is outside, so 3-0 count to Durst. And Peanut Durst drives it into left center field for a base hit, and that's going to stretch across another run. So that's going to add on 22-5 now Falcons. Blake Jacobs comes across for the 4th time tonight. Now another pinch hitter here for the Falcons. Braden Tyler makes his first at bat tonight. Again, bases loaded is still here for the Falcons. Braden Tyler swings at the first and fouls it back. So 0-1 count. Again, 2 outs here still in the bottom of the fourth. Falcons lead 22-5. In a game that did start kind of back and forth, Falcons have really taken over here in this fourth.
Here you go, one more.
That is in there for a strike on the curveball. So 0-2 count to Braden Tyler, who is pinch hitting for Jesus Purdue. Tyler fouls it back.
Only what? Let's go, Jax. One more.
That pitch is on the inside at his feet. So 2-2 count here to Tyler.
on, Jack.
And that is going to put the count at full 3-2 for Tyler. And that is a walk here for Tyler, so that's going to stretch across another run for the Falcons, extending the lead 23-5. And that is going to bring up Wyatt Royal, who singled in his first at bat. After starting the game as pitcher, did have a DH in Rhett Sensabaugh, who went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Lefty comes back, and that first pitch is in the dirt. So 1-0 count. That pitch is fouled off into the catcher's mitt, so strike one.
One at a time, Jack. Let's go. One more. One more.
And that ball is hit to the second base and booted, and another run does come in to score, so 24-5.
6 or 13.
C is his first one. There's another one. C, then verse. All right, let's go.
And another pinch hitter here for the Falcons. Number 6, Carson Durst in the game now for the Falcons. Pinch hitting for Jackson Hare. And that is swung on and missed. So 1-1 count here to Durst. Again, the Falcons have stretched across 13 runs here in this fourth inning to take a 24-5 lead. And Durst flies it out to right field. And it is caught, so that will end the inning. And again, as I mentioned, 13 runs here in the bottom of the fourth inning has led to a 24-5 lead for the Falcons going to the top of the fifth. So we are here in the top of the 5th inning after a 13-run bottom of the 4th for the Falcons has extended their lead to 24-5. And some substitutions again have been made for the Falcons. In at pitcher is going to be Gunnar Bradshaw. And at the plate for the Indians is going to be number 27, Chase Stotler. Stotler 0 for 1 today with a walk. Does have a run scored. He'll be followed by Jalen Miller and Caden Henry for the Indians.
No, we see
Not your 7.
So 1-2 count here. Ball's in the dirt. It's going to even it up at 2. And that pitch is in the dirt as well. So full count here on Stotler.
I don't either, but yes. You have no obligation.
And that is inside, so that will be a walk for Stotler. So one on here for number 3, Jalen Miller, who did come in to pitch there in the 3rd inning. Sorry, in the 4th inning. Miller pitched a 1/3 of an inning, gave up 4 hits, 6 runs, all earned, and walked 2. Coming over from first base, that pitch is swung on and missed, so it's going to even the count at 1 apiece. So Kyle Rankin started the game for the Indians. Pitched 2 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 runs total for the Indians. Pitch is in there for a ball, so 2-1 count. He was followed up by Caden Groves for an inning. Groves gave up 6 hits, 11 runs, 10 of which were earned. And that pitch is skied in the infield and picked up by Lanson Orndorff and caught for the first out of the inning here for the Falcons. That's going to bring up number 35, Landon Stotler. Pinch hitting for Caden Henry. Back to the pitching for the Indians. Jalen Miller, again, only a 1/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 2 walks, no strikeouts. And then Jackson McClintock for the 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, and 2 walks for the Indians pitchers. So total so far tonight for the Indians, 4 innings pitched, 17 hits, 24 runs, 20 of them earned, 10 walks, and only 1 strikeout. Now for the Falcons, count here to Stotler is 2-1. The pitch is outside, so 3-1 count. Game was started by Wyatt Royal, pitched 1 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 of which was earned, and walked 3 with no strikeouts. Then was replaced by Uriah Cutter. And with that pitch, Stotler reaches on a walk. So back-to-back walks here to start the inning for the Indians after the flyout. And that is going to bring up number 11, Caden Groves. Again, back for the Falcons pitching. Cutter comes in relief. Pitches 2 1/3 inning, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, one of which was earned. Walked 1 and struck out 4. And now has led to Gunnar Bradshaw, which his first pitch to Groves was a ball, or was a strike. So now it is 0-2 here on Caden Groves. Bradshaw so far pitched a 1/3 of an inning and has walked 2 now. And that pitch is outside for a ball, so 1-2 count to Groves. That pitch is fouled back. Count will stay at 1-2. Again, 1 out here in the Berkeley Springs fifth. Falcons lead 24-5. And that pitch is swung on and missed for a strikeout for Bradshaw. So 2 down here in the top of the fifth, and that is going to bring up number 24, Kyle Rankin, here for the Indians. Again, runners on first and second. Rankin takes ball 1 in the dirt. Bradshaw's pitch is high, so 2-0 count. Bradshaw's pitch is high there, so 3-0 count here for Rankin. Again, 2 down here in the top of the fifth. And that is in there for a strike, so 3-1 count. One more out. Falcons will get out of here with another W. And that is high and almost hits Rankin, so that will load the bases here for the Indians. Again, 2 outs in the top of the fifth. That's going to bring up number 9, Kyle Moore. Moore 1 for 3 today. Bradshaw's pitch is inside and low, so it'll be a ball. There are 25 pitches here for Bradshaw in the inning. That is going to be 2-0 count here on Moore. Again, bases full of Indians. And Moore hits one to left. It is traveling, and it is over the head of the outfielder, and that's going to drive in at least 2. Gets the ball back into the infield, and that does drive in 2 for the Indians, so they cut the lead to 24-7 now. On the RBI double from number 9, Kyle Moore.
Jackson! Is it good? Up, up.
So now up here for the Indians is number 6, Jackson McClintock. And that pitch is in the dirt. Again, pitch high. That's 3-0 here to McClintock. 2 more across. Sorry, 3 more across here for the Indians, and it makes it 24-8. So McClintock with the walk. Going to be runners on first and third now. So that's going to bring up number 19, Sean McCumbee here for the Indians. And he is first pitch swinging to the second baseman, who flings it over to first, and that will do it. So with that out, that will end the game here for the Falcons, and they take this one tonight by a score of 24-8. Join us here shortly where we will talk to the player of the game in postgame and get Coach Miller's thoughts of tonight's victory. Again, Falcons come out of here from Falcon Field with a 24-8 over the Berkeley Springs Indians.
I'm not. Oh. They have to look at the session.
Oh, wait, wait.
We picked it up for an It's my hot hands that I have.
The trash?
Yeah, right here.
I'm not here either. I have no clue where we play on the 22nd.
It's at home. It's home right now. Yeah, it was against Frankfort. Yeah, you're home now. Next week there's 4 or 5 games. Yeah, it's not all I'm paid for the some good head.
Where am I being one?
Huh? Yours? That's okay. No, it's past time.
Hey, get stop buddy out of here. Go.
You need Kyle.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. No question. Ryan, can we switch brothers? Yeah. Right now, we're going to eat somewhere. Okay, come on. We're going to eat. I'm going to go. I'm going to have fun now. If we're not, some gas. Hey, are you ready or not? Today? Today, right? If I Washington, no, he's back. And County, Alway, Cleveland, too. You guys are riding the bus. You guys are riding the bus. The equipment needs to go over there, too. All right, cool. I can't wait. Buddy. I didn't finalize, but I didn't know what to do. Yeah. Hey, do you have the book that they gave you? With the sign. Where are you? Where's the park at? Jim? You partner in the gym? No. I'm going to eat somewhere then. We have coffee now for you. You know,
So let's see. 7 RBIs.
you know,
So basically, just talk about your evening. Kind of, you kind of been slumping a little bit so far to start the season. Big night tonight. Talking about basically without much big weekends. Any thoughts on that? And what you got to do to keep up? You know, in 3 now. So just what you kind of expect. All right, guys, so we have tonight's player of the game is Julian Pattison, 4 for 4 with 7 RBIs and a big grand slam in the 4th inning. Jules, you know, as I mentioned, you know, 4 for 4, 7 RBIs tonight. Kind of struggled a little bit here to start the season. What was it about tonight that allowed you to go 4 for 4? Did you see the ball better, or was it just to give you the good pitches?
Just seeing the good pitches, seeing the ball better. Got here early, worked out with some of my teammates, and just felt confident through hitting the cage at the start of the game.
Yeah, and so like I said, doing a very good job, you know, as you have all season behind the plate as a catcher. You know, what you got a big series coming up here, 4 games in 2 days against 3 region teams. So what can you expect from all 3 of them, and, you know, what do you kind of expect coming out of this weekend?
I mean, we're going to expect probably their best pitchers, 1 or 2 all weekend. As long as me and my guys stay locked in, stay confident, I think we can get it done.
Again, like I kind of mentioned before, he kind of struggled a little bit to start the season, but a big night tonight. So what can you really expect going forward for yourself for the rest of the season?
Just staying positive, staying consistent through everything, getting good swings in before practice, and just staying positive. Just can't get down on myself if I do something bad.
Absolutely. Well, again, 4 for 4 night for Julian, 7 RBIs, and that big grand slam to open up the scoring in the 13-run inning for the Falcons tonight. So, again, 24-8 win over the Berkeley Springs Indians. And again, 4 games here. Friday against Lincoln and Robert C. Byrd. Saturday against Bridgeport and Hoover coming up. So, again, Julian, congratulations. Great job tonight, and we'll see you this weekend, all right? All right, guys, we will be right back here with Coach Miller in just a moment. All right, guys, and now back with Coach Miller. Big explosion offensively tonight after the shutout on Monday. I mean, what was it that was working for you tonight?
Well, I mean, we stayed back on the baseball and drove some pitches. Got a little bit slow start, but once we got things rolling, did a nice job. Bottom of the lineup got things rolling for us. The top lineup hit the ball hard first inning too. We just didn't get anything across. And then bottom lineup got some runs across, and then we exploded there in the 4th. Jules had a big night. Red had a good night. I mean, Jesus had a double down line. Everybody hit the ball tonight. So very happy with the result. We got to be a little bit more locked in early. We got to be more intense and focused early in the game. But late game focus was good today. Happy with that.
Absolutely. And I think 5 opportunities tonight with the bases loaded. He took advantage of 3 of them. We kind of talked about yesterday at dinner about how productive the bottom of the lineup really does have to be. I mean, like you said, everybody really hit tonight. But the bottom of the lineup really was productive tonight, especially with Jules' 7 RBIs. What can you really talk about with the bottom of the lineup really being able to produce tonight for sure?
We have a lot of good players, and our lineup's tough 1 through 9. All of them can hit. All of them are capable. Jack's moved down. He was struggling a little bit. Jack's had a nice triple today too. So the whole lineup hit the ball well, and the bottom's been hitting the ball for us consistently all year. But it takes 9 guys at a time. Doesn't matter where you're at lineup, you got to hit it. So that's the thing about baseball. It's an individual game played as a team. Only 1 guy's at the plate at a time, and everybody has to come through. And our bottom's done a great job. We've had some games where the top struggled and our bottom carried us to wins, and they're just going to continue to keep hitting. And we're going to continue to keep grinding, and hopefully this weekend have a good weekend.
Yeah, and kind of talk a little bit about your pitching tonight. I mean, you struggled a little bit to start, but with giving up 8 runs here to Berkeley Springs. But what can you say positively about your pitching tonight?
This was Wyatt's first start, so he was a little bit nervous coming in. He's going to be just fine. He does a good job in relief for us. Got a start tonight. He threw the ball well. Just got hit up a little bit. And, I feel like he was trying to aim the ball a little bit when he got in a little bit of trouble. But when he just lets the ball go, he's really good. Uriah did fine in relief. He did a good job in those innings, pitching. Gave up a couple hits, but that's baseball. You're going to give up hits as a pitcher. He threw strikes all day. The second inning, he got when he got to go down and get the bullpen and get loose, he got better control of his curveball. And when he had his better control of his curveball, he had a really good 2 innings with the curveball. And then Gunnar came in last inning and shut things down for us. So it's a good win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, as you mentioned to Julian, you got 4 games coming up here on Friday and Saturday, 3 of which are regional games. How big are these games, and how big are getting W's going to be for you?
The region's huge. The 3 region games are huge for us, because if we go down and we can handle our business, it's going to be very hard for us not to be playing at home in the playoffs. So if we go down and get the first 3 games down there, thank you. If we get the first 3 down there, we're going to be in really good shape. There's 3 good teams we got to handle, and Herbert Hoover is really good too. So we got a 4 game set this weekend, and all 4 of them are good teams. We have to definitely take care of our business in the first 3 though.
Absolutely. Well, again, Coach, 24-8 win tonight over Berkeley Springs. We'll see you on Saturday. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight and watching. Again, Falcons walk out of Falcon Field with a 24-8 win over the Berkeley Springs Indians. Again, Coach, as mentioned, said 4 games this weekend, starting Friday against Lincoln at 2:15. Then Friday evening at 6:15 against Robert C. Byrd, 10 o'clock on Saturday against Bridgeport, and then 2 o'clock against Herbert Hoover on Saturday afternoon. May not be able to stream those games, but if we are, we will get it to you on our YouTube channel. If not, we will see you next week with games which we will update if you don't have a schedule. So again, Falcons walk out of Falcon Field tonight with a 24-8 victory over the Berkeley Springs Indians. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great evening.